early on in your career, um, you wrote for Immature. Just talk about that
Yeah.
experience, and then some of the other early songwriting and production credits you had.
So the thing with Immature was probably my first professional experience, like with a group that actually was signed to a record deal and needed material.
Hmm.
And so I kind of came across this guy. He had a whole lot of connections, but he didn't have any talent for music. And so when I met him, he was like, "Listen, man, I know a lot of people, and I want to connect you with some people in the music business because you got a lot of talent." And so he was like, "I know this guy out in LA by the name of Chris Stokes, and he's got this group called Immature, and he's looking for some music." And so he was like, "I want to present some music to them on your behalf." And so I wrote a few songs. They presented the songs to Immature. Immature loved the songs. They flew us out. I produced the records on the group, and that was like the first album. And then they loved the material that I wrote for them the first album. So by the time they got to the second album, they wanted to do some more songs, and I wrote more.
Okay. So from what I noticed on Wikipedia, you wrote "Sweetest Love" on their second album, "Playtime
Uh-huh.
Is Over," which that album featured the classics like "I Will Never Lie" and "Constantly." Um,
Yeah.
so like just give us a little insight into the music industry as far as like did a lot of your songwriting get credited, or are there some?
Now here's the crazy thing, and this is the part that I edited out just now when we were talking.
Uh huh.
But the guy that hooked me up with them actually wrote his name on those songs as if he were a co-producer and a co-writer, but he didn't write or produce anything. And I kind of ran into a lot of that in the beginning when I really was kind of green and didn't understand the business as well as I should have. I was kind of young, didn't really know anything about the business side of music. I just was a songwriter and had some talents. And it's real crazy, man, because like I kind of got into the music business real deep and heavy to try to get away from the street side of life.
Right.
Because I was raised in a family, man. It was kind of crazy, you know what I mean? Like my family was raised, we were kind of like in the church, but then we kind of had a foot in the streets too.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little crazy, man, to have that dichotomy. You know what I'm saying? Like on one hand, Sunday we're praising God, and then when we get back home, it was like drug dealing. You know what I'm saying? So it was a little crazy. And so when I started to get older, I really wanted to get away from that because I started to see so much of the dark side of things from that world. And I was like, how can I get away from this? And then when I got into the music business, it was still kind of the same stuff.
Right.
Only music was attached to it, but you still running. I still was running into gangsters and still running into, unsavory characters and people that are try to take. And so it was a little crazy, you know what I mean?